you ready to kickstart your week with some dirt slinging and tire slaying action motorsports radio that packs the biggest guests?
Hi, Ken Block here.
Hey, my name's Jolene Van Butte.
What's up, Brian Deegan here.
Vaughn Ginn Jr. here.
They've been thrown into one show that has broken down the barriers of what a motorsports radio show should be. This is the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR, with support from General Tire, KMC Wheels, Rigid Industries, Dirtfish, Gibson Exhaust, and MTX Audio, with your host, who also happens to spend his weekends flying 800 horsepower trucks through the dirt, Jim Beaver.
When was the last time you saw an off-road or rally driver begging to get behind the wheel of a NASCAR IndyCar? Yep, not happening, but you sure see these pavement racers begging to drive our cars.
And his partner in crime every week, a self-proclaimed Canadian moto chick who was jumping triples and taking podiums before most guys even learned to ride. Amy Houde.
No one knows how to say my last name. Like, is it really that hard? Amy Houde, like I'm from the hood. Don't get it twisted.
Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to join us as we take you through a motorsports ride like no other. Here is the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other, Jim Beaver.
Good morning and welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. And a fun show today. I don't know. I keep saying, we got a blockbuster show, a big show, a huge show. Be honest with you, all of them lately have been through the roof. I don't know how much bigger you can get. I keep hyping up these huge shows, and I know what we've got brewing for next week, which is going to be our anniversary show, and it's going to be off the chain. But this week is big enough. It could be one. We got my good friend BJ Baldwin, Mr. Recoil. Multi-time Baja 1000 champ, did the deal solo, point to point, won it all. He's going to be calling in. We have a guy that goes by the name of Jimmy Blaze. That's right. Anytime you got a name like Jimmy Blaze, you know you're a badass. Well, Jimmy Blaze, he's going to be calling into the show. Freestyle snowmobile pioneer. This guy has been backflipping razors for 4 years. We all know I know how to go upside down in a razor, but I don't do it the right way. Jimmy Blaze, he does it the right way. He's going to be calling in. And then capping things off, and I don't know, that you could start with this guy, you could finish with this guy. He could take up to 2 full hours, and you guys would be hooked. A guy I've got a ridiculous amount of respect for, Andy Frisella from Phorm, the CEO of Phorm. He's going to be calling in. With Amy Houde and her segment, and this guy has built a company from the ground up, and it's just become this absolute powerhouse in in the fitness and nutrition industry. But not only that, he's a gearhead, man. This guy owns Lamborghinis. He goes out and races them. This guy is a car guy. So Amy, she's looking forward to talking to him, picking his brain on the fitness side. I want to talk cars, man. And Andy, he's going to be calling in. We're going to cap the show off with him for 30 minutes, and it's going to be a solid interview. I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but I can guarantee you. We get the MF CEO on air, and it's going to be a solid interview. He's got his own podcast, too. You definitely going to want to check that out, MF CEO. But you can, we'll get into that later on in the show. But it's just a solid show. Not only that, Best in the Desert Henderson finally capping off the desert racing season. We got a snow race next weekend, Rage at the River there in Laughlin. But Best in the Desert score wrapped up a few weeks ago with Baja 1000. Best in the Desert capping things off with the Henderson 250, crowning some champions. We had race winners, lots of, I don't want to say drama, but just a solid trophy truck race or trick truck race. We had Stadium Super Trucks down there in Australia, and then, we also had a little regional rally up there in Minnesota, and normally we wouldn't even talk about it, but a good friend of mine ended up taking away the win, so we're definitely going to talk about it in his very first ever stage rally. So we'll probably touch base on that as well. I don't know, man, just absolute slam packed show today, and not only that, we got some questions we're going to get to. We've had some solid listener questions over the past couple of weeks. Kind of picked out 3 of them that we'll answer on air. Some of them kind of put me on the spot, and others, I don't know. We may have to get Amy to chime in on them at some point as well, but got those as well. And I don't know, man, just a solid weekend. I don't know. It's so weird. I've been at home for like I don't know. You guys follow me on social media. I travel a lot. It seems like, you hear the hashtag airport life, right? Well, that was me this year. And, blessings, absolute blessings from all over being able to do what I do, make a living at it. Absolutely love my job, love my listeners, love the fans of the show, love motorsports fans, love motorsports. But it's been weird. I've been at home for almost 2 months straight, maybe a little over 2 months straight. I've had some road trips. I had to go to SoCal to do some TV voiceover. Had some meetings here and there, all in the Southwest. So, 1 day drives, maybe an overnight. We're not talking, I call travel when you get on an airplane, fly across country, right? And it's just been weird being at home for a couple of months. Obviously, we're dialed in with a radio show every Monday, but it's just totally been weird to not be getting on an airplane every weekend or every other weekend. And kind of enjoying it, Got this beautiful Razor 1000, Pro Armor and General Tire and Rigid and MTX and a bunch of our other brand partners got involved and helped me deck this thing out. And, and Gibson Exhaust, can't forget them. But we've been, dialing that thing in. And it's desert season here in Arizona. I know some of you up north, you guys are, pulling out the sleds and going snowmobile racing and riding. Here in Arizona, it is desert season. We're pulling out the UTVs, the dirt bikes. Some of you got quads and, hitting the desert, hitting the dunes, the trails and having a good time. So, I don't know. I've been, definitely happy to finally have that, have that Razor dialed in, and be able to go out and hit the desert. It's definitely been some fun, and I've got a Raptor, pre-runners and everything else, and we go out and, and I've been able to, take those on trails, but you take this Razor out, it's different capabilities, and to be honest with you, go places my Raptor can't, smaller, more nimble, and I've been able to find some pretty cool spots, and I've been over the course of this desert, pretty much all over it, for my entire life, almost 35 years. 22nd of this month, I turn 35. Here I am aging myself on the show, but who cares at this point? Like I tell everybody, you're not old until you feel old and act old, and I sure as heck don't. So there you go. But I've been doing this for 35 years, and this Razor has really opened up all kinds of stuff that I didn't even know was out there. Just being able to go and check out these different places that I didn't even know existed. So definitely having some fun time with that. And I know everybody says, get better with the GoPro. We want videos of this and more pictures. And, and I'm weird. I get in the zone and, I'm on these amazing trails going, oh, this is awesome. And then after I get done, I'm like, I should have had video. I should have shot pictures of that. So I need to get better at it. I know I hear it from you guys all the time. We want to see where you go, videos, pictures, and I just flat forget, to be honest with you. I get in the zone, and there you go. So I definitely need to do better at that. I mean, gosh, you got my co-host, Amy Houde. She kills it with video. We were laughing, I think, at one of the Terracross events earlier in the year. She, we go to the same event. We're there the same amount of time. She pumps out, 50 social media posts and videos and everything else. I think I pumped out 3 or 4 or 5 or something like that. It was just, it was kind of silly. So yeah, she's awesome about it. I'm bad at it. So I guess if there's one thing I can learn from my co-host, Amy, it's get better at social media, and I don't know, she kills it. She's got a great following and everything else. But yeah, that being said, you got any questions for any of our guests? We just said Jimmy Blaze, BJ Baldwin, Andy Frisella. Man, shoot them over at JimBeaver15 on Twitter. I'm sitting here looking at Twitter right now. I guess I got 9 notifications. Maybe that's questions being rolled in. But yeah, tag me at JimBeaver15. We will definitely get those answered. If you got questions for me or Amy, whoever. I like any kind of questions, and pretty much I'll answer about 95% of them during the show. It takes a lot for me to avoid completely a question, and that's generally if you guys get the lines. You cross that line, and it's it's not going to get answered. But me, I'm pretty flexible, and a lot of you send me direct messages on Facebook. I try and get back to those as best I can. Some of them that are silly, sometimes they get backburnered, but I generally try and get to everything, even the contact form on the website. I need to get better at that, too. I was just looking. I had some of that stuff in there that was 3 weeks old, and my apologies. But It is what it is, man. Just sitting here doing the grind, and and I gotta say though, best in the desert Henderson this weekend. Talk about it, an awesome event. And I know we're waiting for BJ Baldwin to call in, so when BJ calls in, we'll definitely have to push this back to later in the show. But man, talk about a great way to cap off the 2015 Best in the Desert year. I mean, Best in the Desert is kind of taken point. I don't want to say the premier desert racing organization in North America, but it's definitely solidified itself as is right there, and basically the United States version to Scores Mexico, and I think that's the easiest way to classify desert racing. I think you want to race in Mexico, you race Score. You want to race in the United States, you race Best in the Desert. Best in the Desert doesn't go to Mexico. Score, obviously, they don't come to the States anymore. So there you go. I think we've got two premier off-road sanctioning bodies, and, it just depends on, where you want to race and where your sponsors want to race. So that being said, I guess that's the easiest way to classify these two organizations. I race Best in the Desert here in the States, kind of a partial schedule. But Henderson, the finale, this has always been a race. It's kind of been one, if you're in a points championship you go to. Other than that, you just don't even think about it. It's kind of an afterthought, and it's I think that's part of the reason why it's going away. And you got the amazing Phorm event coming back from being dead and buried, on the 2016 schedule. And I think everybody's pumped about that. Henderson is definitely not one anybody's going to miss. But that being said, this record entries for Henderson. Record entries. I mean, that's just phenomenal. Just phenomenal, man. This is a race that, I don't know, even in the lead up, I was going, ain't going to be many people race it, and nobody cares. It's, it just is what it is. And, now all of a sudden, record entries. So, they've got it separated into three different races, run bikes early. Then you've got some of the limited class cars, and then race number 3, you've got all the unlimited cars that it's go time. So definitely solid to separate everyone like they did. I think it's definitely safer. Don't have to worry about slower cars or bikes or UTVs on course with the trophy trucks. Smart move by all. So getting to some quick results. Motorcycles and quads. Overall winner, Ricky Brabeck, Robbie Bell. Those guys have been on point all year long, taking home that victory. 250 Pro, Jesse Canepa and Robert Underwood taking that win. Ironman Expert, it was Damon Bush with the win there. Quad Pro, Jeremy Gray. And then looking at over 40 Expert, it was Trevor Pacheco taking home that win in that class. So skipping down, Quad Ironman Expert, Cody Mitchell, Chris Brown taking the win in over 30 Pro. And then getting down here to Open Expert, Alec Fink taking the win. Open Amateur was Jeffrey Wilson. And then over 40 Pro, Chad Thornton. So I know we're giving the rundown. I've said it before. If you win a race and it's the Best in the Desert race, I may bore you listeners for about 5 minutes, but you know what? Everybody deserves to get their name called out if you win a race. I don't care what class you're in. If you're in Best in the Desert score and you get a win, I'm going to call your name off on the show. So Austin Bolton, 250 Expert win. Quad Ironman Amateur, Michael Slusky with the win there. And then skipping over to race number 2. Well, we would have had race number 2, but I completely just pulled a bonehead move and X'd out of that screen on my computer. So there you go. I guess all of us make mistakes, right? Race number 2. This is starting in car and trucks. James Dean with the win outright, Class 2400, Class 1900 at UTV. It was Dustin Jones with a win. I got to give him a big shout out. Ryan Holes, good to see the Holes boys out there. Mark and Ryan taking home second in their Polaris RZR. Then moving down. Even further, we got Dodge Pullman in third in Class 1900. Class 6000, PJ Guillermo in Trophy Light. He took the win there. Skipping down some more class winners, 3700, Bob Mamer taking home a win. Lucretia Burrier taking home unlimited win in UTV. 1,700 Jeep Speed, Rick Randall taking the win. 2,000 was Nathan Martino. And 1,800 Sportsman, Richard Bailey taking home that win. Got to give a shout-out to my boy Matt Martelli from Mad Media. The Mad Media boys teaming up. They were running I know, not running the camera. They were actually running a Jeep Speed and taking home third place in Jeep Speed, so not bad. So now let's get into the Unlimited. This is what you guys tune into the show for, talk some trophy trucks and stuff like that. I got to give a big shout-out to Josh Daniel. Dialed in, pretty much just dominating. Took the pole in qualifying, raced the entire event, and pretty much just dominated. That's all there is to it. And then 8 miles from the finish, had a mechanical failure and lost the victory. So I don't know, man. This just got to be heartbreaking for him. Solid effort. That truck's just getting faster and faster, and it's scary fast with that twin turbo. But Josh, I got to give him credit, man. Just walking away with a solid lead, and stuff happens in desert racing. Tavo Vidosla inherits the win by default, but Tracy Groff actually finished second on course, but due to time, he ended up getting moved back to second. So Tavo takes the win, Tracy Groff in second, Jason Voss in third, Steve Ologis in fourth in trick truck and overall. First in Class 1500, also known as Class 1, and fifth overall was Scott Bailey in the MAV TV car. Moving down, some other winners. BJ Baldwin, one of our guests, waiting on him to call in. Looks like he took home seventh overall, fifth in trick truck. 6100 winner Brett Serapis, sounds like he took home a championship as well. So that's pretty much your winners from Best in the Desert Henderson. Solid race there by Best in the Desert. I mean, and we turn around. I know UTVs and bikes about 3 weeks now, and they're back in it. Parker 250, January 8th and 9th. So not a lot of turnaround for the UTV guys. Unlimited classes got a little bit more time. Get to move back. A few spots and. Get to move back in, a few weeks and, prep your cars and get everything ready. But, definitely a tough, going to be a tough turnaround for UTV guys, especially with the holidays and everything else mixed in. But this is desert racing. It isn't easy. If it was, everybody would do it. So, I don't know. 2016 Best in the Desert schedule, looking at that, just looks awesome, man. Parker 250, Parker 425, you moving, then you've got the UTV World Championship, Mint 400, Laughlin, 2-day Vegas Torino for the Vegas Torino anniversary, and then moving past that, you've got, Blue Water Desert Challenge, and then, the Pahrump race in Pahrump, Nevada, coming back from the dead. I don't know, it's been like 10 years maybe since that's been run. It's an awesome course, but coming back from the dead to cap off things in December. So I don't know, man. I look at the schedule and, you look at this year and, there was some races that you could have said, maybe, those are kind of minor league races or something like that. Shoot, you look at it next year, all A-plus caliber races. Definitely looking forward to that schedule for sure. Definitely going to be an awesome schedule. Other events happening over the weekend. Definitely got to talk a little rally. Got to talk a little rally. We got the Namaji. I don't know. Up in Minnesota, Bemidji. So I'm calling it Namaji. I don't know. I may be butchering it, but anyways, it's a regional rally going on in Minnesota. Actually a snow rally. They've been getting some solid snow. You never know in December if it's going to be dirt, snow, what? I guess gravel. I guess I got to use a proper rally term. I don't know. I'm a desert guy. It's always dirt. But anyways, had a solid Solid turnout there, about a dozen entries for a little regional rally in Minnesota, close to Christmas. Not bad, but some heavy hitters. Adam Yeoman looks like he was showing up there. Nick Roberts showing up, and then a good buddy of mine, Cole Coutu. You know him from Terracross. Runs a pro light sled in snowcross. He also went up to Dirtfish Rally School with Levi LaValle and I earlier on in the year. So, yeah, you know, it's great to see him, you know, out there. It looks like Yeoman had some problems possibly. But Nick Roberts running away with things. Solid effort by Nick. And, you know, Nick become a good friend of mine. He's definitely a class act. He pulled over. I think he was just doing some testing for next year. He pulled over and pretty much took a DNF right before the finish to allow the regional guys, because he's a national competitor, and you know it's kind of like bringing a gun to a knife fight. He pulled over, let everybody else kind of let the cards fall where they may. Didn't really want to disrupt things for the regional race. So he pulled over, let those guys take a win. Well, in second place as this happened was Cole Coutu. Very first rally race ever, ends up taking the overall victory. You got to give a big shout out to Cole. That's an awesome thing. Just to finish your first rally, I mean, it's really easy to go off into the woods, but to win it outright, even at a regional level, solid effort by him. I know going up to Dirtfish with him, he had a pretty tremendous drive up there at Dirtfish. I mean, even the instructor's like, man, this kid's on point. He's got a lot of skills. I've watched him race razors, and he's definitely got some skills behind a razor. Obviously on snowmobiles, but to see him go and rally, I'm pretty impressed. Granted, he was jumping into Lachlan O'Sullivan's super production car. Scott Putnam, the co-driver, actually owns the car from Minnesota. So Scott must have, I don't know, he rented it out, but anyways, Cole drives. He's got a solid co-driver in Putnam sitting there, jumps in, and there you go. Takes the victory up there in Minnesota. So I don't know how many people have ever won their very first stage rally ever, even at a regional level. Overall, a lot of people have won in class, but to do it overall, that's an accomplishment, because there's some solid guys. I mean, granted, Nick pulled over, but, that just shows you the class act Nick is, just doing some shakedown, didn't want to mess anything up. But Cole Coutu, man, congrats, buddy. And I know I've been talking with him, about getting him on air at some point to talk some snowcross. And, shoot, now we're going to be able to talk some rally as well. So, he was on air with us back in I don't know, he's been on air a few times this year with some of our remote shows out at Terracross and then the one at Dirtfish. But great effort by him, man. Solid run by Cole Coutu. So congrats, buddy. Definitely stoked for you. That's for dang sure. So it's looks like BJ Baldwin may have got hung up at some point, and looking at that, not only BJ Baldwin get hung up, but I'm getting a text now. Looks like Andy Frisella looks like he is sick as well. I guess he got sick over the weekend, and we're going to have to reschedule him possibly next week. We'll have to see. But Andy, definitely apology sent by him. And BJ, he must have had a hang-up as well. I know they're shooting out at Glamis. Monster Energy shooting Doonies 2 this week. I know you've seen, I don't know, all kinds of posts. Ken Block's got a new Kawasaki that he's going to have out there. Dirt bike he's going to be riding. I know, I don't know. I'm sure he's got some kind of project vehicle. He's got enough Raptors and everything else. He'll have something to have some fun out there for the Doonies 2 shoot. But, I know Paul Thacker, he's posted up some stuff on his social media. He's got a razor he's taken out there, and who knows, maybe even a snowmobile that he'll be able to shred around the dunes in. But sounds like, a lot of the Monster Energy guys heading out to Glamis to shoot Doonies 2. So, sure, BJ maybe got a tie, hung up there somehow. I don't know, but I'm sure he'll shoot me a text and let us know what is happening. But there you go. Went from having all these interviews to, we're, got me and Amy Houde and Jimmy Blaze going to hold it down. We got a ton of fan questions. Like hearing them at JimBeaver15 on Twitter. Definitely, we'll get you dialed in with those. So, Stay tuned to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. We're going to take a short commercial break. We come back, we'll have Jimmy Blaze on the line, talking some Polaris RZRs and some freestyle. Going to be a good interview. All that and more coming up next here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
I'm Polaris rider Levi LaValle, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris RZR XP1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years, Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Baja, check. King of the Hammers, check. Crandon, check. The Mint 400, check. Only one wheel company can say they have dominated the deserts and rocks of the Southwest to the mud and carnage of the big house at Crandon, and that company is KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels has won them all with the help of elite drivers like Travis Pastrana, Ricky Johnson, Bryce Menzies, Carl Renazetter, and Lauren Healy, who all rely on the XT Series from KMC Wheels to get them to the finish line and on top of the podium. Check out KMC Wheels and their full line of XT Series wheels at KMCWheels.com or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels, like no other. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
Rigid Industries is the original and #1 LED light bar manufacturer in the world. Torture tested by some of the best drivers in motorsports. Rigid LED lighting products use cutting-edge technology and can stand up to the harshest conditions Mother Nature can dish out. Designed, engineered, and assembled in the United States, Rigid LED lighting is the only choice for your off-road vehicle or boat. Find out more information on the entire line of Rigid Industries LED lighting products at www.rigidindustries.com.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for, no fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners. And for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island, the best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports. The sound at the racetrack. And the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver in the house on another Monday morning. And I got to tell you, during the commercial break, just got a text from our good friend BJ Baldwin, and he'll be calling in hour number 2. Had a nice 20, 30-minute slot there, and something came up to kick off the show, so pushing things back by an hour. But no worries, BJ Baldwin will be on air today. So those of you tuning in for BJ, definitely, we got you dialed in. We're just running a little bit late, but no worries. But up next, calling in just a few minutes, Jimmy Blaze. Looking forward to this. Been an interview, been a while in the making. I know he's down in Mexico right now, touring around, doing some stunt shows. But going to be great to catch up with Jimmy, find out what it's like to be on tour, and just a solid guy. But any questions for Jimmy? Amy Houde. BJ Baldwin, shoot them to at JimBeaver15. Love to get those. You guys want to talk some Supercross? I know we're getting pretty close to Supercross season, so you guys want to talk some Supercross? Definitely hit Amy and I up. But during got to talk. During the weekend, had Stadium Super Trucks added some more dates down there in Australia, and the prodigy Sheldon Creed, 3 races down there. Check this kid out: wins first race, wins the second race, gets second in the third race. Kid's an animal. Robbie Gordon, meanwhile, took 1 podium, took a second place in the first race, and then he was off the podium the rest of the entire weekend. Sheldon Creed, this kid. Amazing. I want to see him. We've seen him in short course. He kills it there. I want to see this kid in a GRC car. Sheldon Creed, we need to see you in a global rallycross car, buddy. Now, I'm not saying walk away from Stadium Super Trucks. You put on a show there. You're dialed in, but I would love to see Sheldon Creed get a shot in a GRC lights car, something like that, man. This kid is quick. But, I'll give you the rundown. Podium finishers: Creed, Robbie Gordon, P.J. Jones, race number 1. Looks like we had Creed, Morris, and Mingay in race number 2. Then Mingay taking a victory in race number 3. Creed in second, and Matt Brabham in third. So there you go, Stadium Super Trucks down there in Australia, still throwing it down, putting on a show. And looking forward to seeing their 2016 schedule when that drops. Definitely if they come to your neck of the woods, it's worth going to for sure. But man, I don't know. It's kind of a weird mood day, man. I don't know. Weird for me. It seems like it was Thanksgiving late this year. It seems like it was like a short window between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I don't know. It's so weird. Like, it seems like Thanksgiving's just over now. Everything's Christmas movies. Geez, my wife's got her DVR loaded up with Lifetime Christmas movies, and I can get into some Christmas movies, that's for sure. But I don't know. It's just weird, You go in everywhere, and I don't know. Maybe it makes it weird because I've seen Christmas trees in stores since August. It seems like they're pushing Christmas so early now that it kind of ruins the spirit of the season. I don't know. It's weird. But right now, next guest calling in. He's down there in Mexico. Got Jimmy Blaze on the line. How's everything going, Jimmy?
Oh, good. Just sitting out at the pool. Living the dream.
I was gonna say, how's you're down in Mexico, right? How's everything down there?
Everything's going well. I actually had a kind of a big crash last weekend, so I'm kind of recovering, but I guess no better place than sitting by the pool eating breakfast to recover.
Yeah, that is definitely the truth. You're recovering by the pool eating breakfast in Mexico. I don't know. That sounds to me like some good rehab.
Yeah, no, it can't be bad. My girlfriend's got about 15 freaking bikinis she keeps trying to try on and take off, so the view is not bad either.
Yeah, for sure. So you spend a lot of time down in Mexico, don't you? I know I was looking through your social media. You guys do what, at least once a year you're touring down there, right?
Oh, yeah. I figure I do anywhere from, I've been doing this tour, X-Pilots, for about 7 years now, and I've done anywhere from 20 to about 10 a year, so I'm down here quite a bit. Sometimes we couple a couple shows, like this tour's just 2 weeks long, but sometimes I can get like a whole month down here at a time, so it's not a bad gig.
Yeah, well, it's got to be fun touring down there. I mean, every time I've ever raced in Mexico and been down there for just about anything, I mean, the fans in Mexico, they get into it, man. Doesn't matter what it is. They just love motors.
Oh, I know, dude. They pack 20 deep into a Honda Civic, and they show up to the show all ready to party.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure it's just off the hook, especially when you start pulling out backflips and razors and stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, they kind of just don't know what the heck to think about it, really. Yeah. I mean, the razor at least makes a little sense to them. The snowmobile stuff makes no sense to them at all. They're like, is it a jet ski? Like, what is this?
I wonder how many actual snowmobiles reside in Mexico. That would be that'd be a hell of a...
I bet you I own 100% of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know, I know there's some mountain areas you start getting really south into mainland Mexico, but I really, that's funny. I literally, I don't think I've ever heard of anybody ever snowmobiling in Mexico, nothing. I mean, you're right. You probably own 100% of them.
The closest I've ever got to them was I had a couple shows back, I had some guys come up and tell me they were on the Mexican snowboard team. And I thought they were joking. I thought they were trying to sell me drugs or something.
Yeah, it's like the Jamaican bobsled team, from for the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
Oh, too funny. I guess that's what I need to do. I need to pick up some weird sport in a winter sport in a summer only country, and that way I can make my way to the Olympics or something. I don't know.
Well, I had to do that as just the way my career was going, man. I just was getting cold so much, and I wasn't seeing any sun, and there were just girls with so much, so many jackets on. You couldn't really tell what they were like until you got them home. So, I had to develop something, and I was totally stuck at surfing. So I was like, yeah, maybe I can figure out how to ride a snow machine without snow.
I got to tell you, that's kind of spooky with all those layers, man. You pull off and pull the jackets and pants off, and they got hairy legs and everything else. You never know what you're getting into, right?
Dude, it's like going home with a Wookiee.
Oh, shoot. So, I mean, what, I don't know. Answer me this. I mean, your sled, I know you got, how do you change it up to run on, I know you guys have like some AstroTurf like run-ups and stuff like that, but what, you've got wheels on the front, right, on the skids?
Yeah. We've actually kind of gone away. Originally, like when I first started doing this in Australia in 2003, we had like a whole ice pit that I could drive through and stuff, and then it just kind of developed. I started, adding. I've actually been run a Razor radiator on the back of my sled right now. They're both made by Polaris, so it was kind of an easy fit. So I just got the Razor radiator with the fan hooked up to it, and then on the wheels, on the skis, I kind of, made these somewhat like a large rollerblade system on the front of my sled and kind of hid in the skis, and it works well enough most of the time. So, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and it's changed over the years, but it seems to work pretty good.
Yeah. Well, how'd you get into snowmobile freestyle? I mean, were you a backcountry guy or a snowcross guy originally, and you just organically went that way? I know you're from Alaska, right?
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things. It was essentially like growing up in Southern California, Temecula in the late 90s. I mean, except I grew up in Anchorage, Alaska, and, it was just a natural progression. I think one day, 96, 97, I was just out riding my sled, and some guy had the first ever shoulder camera and was like, hey, can I videotape you jumping this? And, and that's when the whole idea stuck. Like, man, I think I can jump bigger than my buddy. And then the next thing you know, just kind of happened, really. I mean, it was just the right place at the right time, and I was lucky enough to see the opportunity to, I guess, jump on it, no pun intended.
Yeah, well, and I got to give you credit. I know you were one of one of the first 3 guys to ever backflip a snowmobile, and coming from a guy who I obviously I've spent more time on a dirt bike and and out in the desert than anything, but I've spent quite a bit of time on a sled, and to me, getting those things airborne, I mean, those things are so dang heavy. I mean, there's just another level of respect for you guys that can backflip a sled.
Well, the consequences on sled are just so great. I mean, you know, to do the same distance of jumping, you got to be, 15, 20% faster. And then, with speed comes consequences.
Yeah, for sure. How did the whole razor thing? I mean, how did you organically get into that? I mean, I kind of, I get it. You're on tour, and you need an extra filler or something like that. But that's pretty ballsy to all of a sudden start flipping razors.
Well, I have to give credit where credit is due. I was super wasted on New Year's Eve, and it was with all my buddies, and we were watching Reese Millen flip his trophy truck on New Year's Eve. And I was like, man, I think I can build that. And back then it was with a Yamaha Rhino. I was like, man, I think I can do that. And I drew on a bar napkin a little ramp with a crude back then Rhino drawing with some dollar signs underneath it and stuffed it into my pocket. And I found it a few days later when I was doing laundry. I was like, oh, man, I have the best ideas when I'm wasted. And so yeah, then started the long process. And it's actually things, I started building this thing, and I practiced with it into the foam pit beforehand. And then somebody else actually came out and built one for the late Caleb Moore. And then they went and landed one on that interesting ramp that they had, and then I think I did one here a couple months after they did finally. But I've been practicing on it about a year and a half, 2 years before they came out with their idea.
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, what do you think? I mean, obviously you are dialed down. I know you're saying you've done over 100 plus backflips in a razor. I mean, what's the logical progression? I mean, 2? Do you do front flips? I mean, what's next?
Oh, gosh, you didn't creep on my Instagram hard enough then, did you?
No, I did. I saw you got a ramp, and for the front flips. And what's scary to me is that's some long distance to get that rotation down.
Yeah, well, that's what a lot of people don't get is that you just need the time in the air, man. And it's, time in the air scares a lot of people. And I learned that trick from Jackson Strong, one of the first guys to front flip a motorcycle. And he's like, man, I just couldn't do it at 75 feet. He's like, it's easier for me to do it at 80, 85, 90 feet. And when we were up at Fitzland testing, I was like, man, I just think I need more speed. I need to do it bigger. And, it works pretty dang well. And unfortunately, I'm right at the next step where we need to set it up to dirt and we need to do it. I just don't have the time right now. And so hopefully in the new year, 2016 will be the new year for it.
Yeah, that's first time you go to do something like that to dirt, I mean, foam pit, that's, you always know, I mean, there's still some consequences with that, but you always know you've got somewhat of a fallback, but it's got to be pretty, I mean, that's basically nutting up the first time you got to huck it on dirt.
It's totally scary, and I try to convince myself that, okay, everything's a mathematical formula. You hit this speed, and then I mean, it's as close as we can get to bull riding. I mean, you can't control any of that crap.
Yeah. How about double backs? I mean, is there, I've seen how the ramps go. I mean, is it the same thing, just speed and airtime, right, to get the double rotation? You even think it's possible?
The hardest thing once you get out that far is the machine twisting in the air. And so I think it would actually be easier for me just to do a barrel roll than it would be for me to double backflip. But those are definitely on the radar. We'll see, as needed. I mean, we're just waiting until everybody starts copying my stuff right now, and then I'll have to make something new so all these guys can copy my stuff again.
Yeah, well, and it's. I mean, we've seen a couple of guys pop up now doing backflips, but it's taken them some time. I mean, you were literally, you and I guess Caleb were kind of the pioneers of this deal.
Yeah, well, Caleb is a neat thing. He was also in the right place at the right time, and he is another guy out of Texas. A guy named Jeremy owns All Terrain Research. He had this idea to do it, and he built this ramp in his razor, and he just happened to live close to Caleb, and he said, hey, man, can you test this? Because, man, this is gnarly, and I don't want to test this. And so it was kind of cool to see him, like, in that he was just like, man, I wasn't into it, but, heck, I'm into it because he's just a fan of all things motor. So that was kind of cool for him to step into that place.
Yeah, and I know he was one that pops back and forth between multiple disciplines. How about you? I mean, you pretty happy on the snowmobile, or you ever jump on on some ATVs or dirt bikes?
I'm funny that you talk about that. I was just talking to a tour that I'm going to remain nameless right now, but a worldwide tour that was like, hey, what else can you do? And I called up one of my buddies and I was like, hey man, do you think you could find me a racing 3-wheeler? I was like, man, this tour wants to do it on one of those, what are those Hondas, those 200 TXs or whatever they were called?
Or something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And he's got like, what the heck would you need that for? So
I think you would.
I don't know.
If you backflipped a 3-wheeler, I guarantee you that would be a world first.
Yeah, well, I'd have all the 80s chicks after me.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It might not be a bad thing. You never know.
Yeah, love that big hair.
Yeah, exactly.
White snake jacket.
Absolutely. There's some good music out of the 80s. You just got to ignore what the bands look like.
Definitely.
So what's up next for you? I know obviously you're touring down there in Mexico. I mean, what's the winter look like? You start getting into a bunch of snow and doing some of that type of stuff?
Yeah, you'd think I would get a bunch of snow shows, but I just, I don't know. Snow really isn't my thing. But what is next is I've actually been developing, or we are developing and have a show coming out for almost a RZR only show with myself and Mark Burnett.
Okay.
And we are doing we're taking all the freestyle stuff on the RZRs, and then we're doing some stunts that we learned in the movies. Like side wheelies, some wheelie stuff, and just little stunt things that we learned in that platform. And then mix it with a little bit of Gymkhana and these new turbo RZRs that are coming out. I mean, we can pump out almost 200 horse out of them, almost stock. So burn off some tires and do some flips. And I think we're running on about 60 shows this coming up year. So I think it should be a good, fun season for us.
That should be cool. I mean, I've brainstormed in my my thought process, and because I do a lot of racing and RZRs and some Terracross, and I'm going to be doing some desert stuff this next year. But I've always thought, I think there's a whole lot more that this platform can do than we've actually seen.
Yeah, well, I think so as well. I mean, a lot of states you're starting to see a lot of license plates on them, and a lot of people are going to be using them a lot more. And I think that, they're a really easy thing for people to get into. You can finance them and you can insure them. And man, that takes away a lot of the guesswork out of them. Anybody can get into one of these things. So I like them just because they're user friendly for me. I mean, all the parts interchange. If I'm traveling to Europe, like I've got another show going on in Europe, and I have one of my own guys flipping my car over in Europe this weekend. And man, he broke something last weekend, and I can just overnight stuff to him right away, and these things just bolt right back together.
Yeah, and I think that's what's great about the platform. I mean, geez, the aftermarket support's just nutty. I mean, it used to be everything was custom made, and oh crap, I broke a part, I got to go in the shop and remake it. Now it's quick phone call and you can have it overnighted.
Yeah, definitely, and just the technology's so come so far. I mean, I'd actually really like to get into a bit more distance jumping with them. I mean, on my snow machine stuff back when I was midway through my career, that was something that I was really chasing, and I actually held the overall distance jumping record for a while at 228 feet. So it held for a few years, and then obviously now a couple of people have really smoked that. Levi last New Year's almost doubling that. So. But I would like to really get into the hunt for a distance RZR record.
Yeah, well, and I think the RZR record. I don't know. I've had this conversation with RJ and then Tanner, who I believe's got it still right now. But it's funny. I mean, it's kind of right there on the edge where you can still go out and do it. And I think last time Tanner jumped, you can still beat that, but it's to the point where it's about to get real serious real quick, And I think before it was almost play. Jumping 100 feet in a RZR, I mean, it's a big deal, but it really isn't. But I think we're to the point now where there's going to be some serious consequences if your math isn't done right.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. I mean, crap, I got a 120, 130 foot jump on my track right now. So I mean, 100 feet isn't that big, but then. Yeah, I'm thinking that football field might be the leg to shoot, but it'd be cool to get out there in like a huge event. what is that, Dune Fest or some of those big events back east, and it'd be neat to set something up like that.
Yeah, well,
have a little shootout.
Yeah, I could see something, especially like at one of the Camp Razors. I know they've got the one out east and then the one here. I mean, I could see Polaris definitely getting behind something like that and having a shootout for a record. Out of Glamis, just getting a run up in the sun or in the sand is kind of tough. After.
Hey, I might be an advantage there because I spent all the time in the snow without any traction. So it's something to think about anyway.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So you still, how long are you down in Mexico for? You down there for another week or so?
Yeah, I'm here until Monday, and then come back to the States for 2-3 days, and then I go over to Europe. I've got a couple shows, Christmas time in Christmas and New Year's in Germany. So I've got a buddy of mine who is covering the first 2 shows, one last weekend and one this coming weekend, and then I fly over to Europe to do the next 2 of them. So it'll be an interesting Christmas and New Year's for us. Taking my girlfriend with me, so it saves on Christmas presents.
No kidding. I don't know, man. Europe and a girlfriend, I don't know. It saves on Christmas presents, but I could see some shopping getting out of hand over there in a hurry.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you think razor parts are expensive?
Yeah.
Woo!
Oh, nice. What's that?
Is BJ on now? I mean, do we get to talk about having a Razor video shootout, or can I guess he had a Can-Am in his video. I wonder if I can talk him into doing some Razor stunts in his next video.
Yeah, he's calling in later on the show. It got rescheduled. He had something come up in the beginning, but yeah, I know he's full Can-Am guy now. I don't know if I know he was Razor for a while, but I don't know. He might be up for some kind of shootout with a Razor and a Can-Am. I don't know.
Well, you have to throw it out to him. I'd be stoked on doing something like that. I like the Midwest theme movie.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. I know we were talking about the Sasquatch suit, right? And you're like, I got to get that thing for one of my videos. That was my favorite part of the whole video.
Oh, definitely very bonus points for being creative on that. That was pretty neat.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to call in, buddy, and anytime, man, doors open. Should have done this a while ago, but keep me in the loop on anything you have going on.
Okay, well, hey, I'll be sure to send you over my front flip footage when I get it, and then we can call in and talk about me crashing my butt off or landing it like a hero.
I tell you what, I did a triple front flip in a Razor in San Diego at Terracross earlier this year, and I know it can be done. It wasn't done right, but it just takes.
Oh no, the concept's there.
Yeah, exactly. It just takes coming up short on a double, and you can get that snap roll in a hurry, man. Trust me.
Well, real quick on the front flip, and I showed my dad all this video, and the mechanism that I have on the front that pops up and the back wheels hit this special ramp. And my dad was like, hey, I don't know why you're doing all that work. Why don't you just like put a rope on it with a hook on the front of the thing, so when you go off the ramp, it just snaps you around. I'm like, Dad, do you even watch anything that I do? I was like, do you want me to be around for a little longer?
Just make him the beneficiary on the life insurance. He'll be happy, right?
Oh, already is.
Yeah.
Already.
He's just trying to help you out a little quicker than oh, geez.
Definitely.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Jimmy. I appreciate the phone in, buddy. And, be safe. Have some fun. We'll talk soon.
All right, cool. You guys have a good day.
All right. You too. You too, buddy.
Bye.
All right. That was Jimmy Blaze calling in from Mexico. And definitely give him a follow on social media. This dude, one of the first ever guys to backflip a Razor, doing stunt shows around the world in Razors, snowmobiles. A freestyle snowmobile pioneer. He's been in the X Games. He's just you want to talk about personality. Jimmy's definitely got it, and he posts some insane stuff on his Instagram and his social media. Some epic videos, snowmobile freestyle stuff, Razor freestyle stuff. Good friends with my good friend Mark Burnett, my teammate with Polaris Razor and General Tire. Mark, just a solid human, and He's also got his, freestyle motocross tour, and so I can see a lot of synergies between the two, and definitely looking forward to seeing what he's got up his sleeve in 2016. But solid solid fun. With Jimmy Blaze. And, I'm looking, like I said, I always monitor my Twitter feed, during the show, see what's popping up, what kind of news we can talk about. And Ken Block, my good boy KB, looks like he is taking over Sports Center this morning. He's got the Unicorn there at ESPN HQ. Looks like doing some tire slaying around the parking lot, but looks like he's taking over ESPN Sports Center. So you want to talk about some mainstream loving? Ken Block definitely getting that today at Sports Center. But that'll be a cool place to visit. Super cool. But I got to give Sports Center credit. It seems like they've reached out to the action sports guys quite a bit recently. I know even the WWE wrestlers and stuff like that have started doing some stuff, ESPN. But looks like Ken Block taking over Sports Center, the latest guy to do that. So congrats goes out to KB, and definitely have to be watching some Sports Center today, and see what that's all about. And hopefully you guys tuned into Terracross over the weekend. Had a ton of Terracross episodes. I think 3 aired, a re-air from the first race at Glamis. The second race at Glamis was on, and then a re-air for the second race at Glamis. So a ton of Terracross on CBS Sports Network, and had the opportunity to do some color commentary. And they'll be doing some more re-airs, so definitely check your local listings and Terracross's social media, and get the skinny on those. But big shout out to Sarah Price. Perfect season. Not easy to do, especially in Terracross, that stacked women's field. I mean, obviously my sidekick Amy, but Shelby Anderson, Katie Vernola, Jolene Van Vliet, Danielle Weatherly. I mean, solid female lineup there in Terracross. So congrats goes out to her on the perfect season. Jason Luberg, back-to-back Terracross championships. That's got to be even harder. He took a victory and then walked away with a championship. So congrats to both of them. Hopefully you're able to catch it on CBS Sports. If not, definitely catch the re-air DVR. It definitely some good TV. And it's been a lot of fun working with that series. Looking forward to 2016. But right now, we are going to take a short break. We got BJ Baldwin calling in after the break. Looking forward to BJ Baldwin on air. It's been probably been a year since we've had him dialed in, but lots to talk about with BJ. Shoot me those questions at JimBeaver15 on Twitter. We will definitely get to them here in about 5 minutes after this break. Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Hey, I'm RJ Henderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When RJ Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris RZRs RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Baja, check. King of the Hammers, check. Crandon, check. The Mint 400, check. Only one wheel company can say they have dominated the deserts and rocks of the Southwest to the mud and carnage of the big house at Crandon, and that company is KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels has won them all with the help of elite drivers like Travis Pastrana, Ricky Johnson, Bryce Menzies, Carl Renazetter, and Lauren Healy, who all rely on the XT Series from KMC Wheels to get them to the finish line and on top of the podium. Check out KMC Wheels and their full line of XT Series wheels at kmcwheels.com or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels, like no other. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle. Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for. No fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners. And for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island. The best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
Looking to upgrade the brake system on your race car, pre-runner, or weekend toy? J-Mar Performance Brake Systems has you covered. An industry leader in performance braking systems, J-Mar can outfit your vehicle with the highest quality American-made calipers, rotors, master cylinders, hubs, turning brakes, and shifters for Volkswagens to trophy trucks and everything in between. For more information and their full product line, visit J-Mar on the web at jmarperformance.com or follow them on Instagram and Twitter at J-Mar Brakes. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Kicking off hour number 2 here in the studio. Been a fun first hour. Jimmy Blaze calling in. Jimmy Blaze. I don't know what more you can say about Mr. Jimmy Blaze, but we talked about some Northern girls, and I don't know. We're going to have to get the scoop from Amy Houde and find out if there's any truth to it or not. She's a Northern girl from Canada. We'll have to see what they say about girls who wear big jackets, but I don't know. We'll find out later on in the show when Amy calls in. But right now, waiting on good friend BJ Baldwin to hop on the line. I got a lot to talk about there. Recoil 3 and Recoil 3. Talk about a little promotion he's got going on with Rigid Industries. BJ's Midnight Ride. Gonna be fun to talk about that. Launching basically a contest. You guys can actually get free airfare out to Vegas. Get a hotel for 2 nights. You get to visit BJ's shop and go in a ride with in the trophy truck with BJ Baldwin. So all of it paid for. I don't know, man. To me, it doesn't get much better than that. So, find out the details on that. I know Rigid Industries right there on the front page of their website. They've got all the details as well. But it's one promotion you probably don't want to miss out on, especially if you've just bought some Rigid Industries Midnight Edition lights. That's the way you get involved in this program. It's the way you're going to win a trip to Vegas to see BJ. It's sounds like a heck of a good time to me. BJ, always fun to hang out with, and yeah, it's about it. I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought here. What can you say? I don't know. Like I said, it's a weird mood Monday for me. I don't know. Weird mood Monday. We're just we'll stick with that. But anyways, yeah. Right now, it looks like we do have BJ Baldwin calling into the show. So I guess Weird Mood Monday will continue. But it's my good buddy BJ Baldwin. How's everything going, BJ?
Good. How you doing, Jim?
Oh, pretty good, man. I got to tell you, I just had Jimmy Blaze on the air, and you want to talk about personality, man. Jimmy Blaze is oozing personality.
Oh, yeah? What are you guys talking about?
He was telling me about Northern Girls, and he's from Alaska, and backflips, razors, and all these snowmobiles. He's down in Mexico now. He said he had to get out from up north. He's like, you never know what you're getting into. He's like, these Northern Girls wear these big jackets, and he's like, you pull the jacket off, and you never know what's underneath.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure they're hiding all year round. They could have a baby in there, or 25 pounds. 50% body fat. You never know when they're all bundled up.
Yeah, so it was quite entertaining. But how's everything going with you, dude? I know Recoil dropped. You just got done with the Baja 1000. We talk a little bit about Recoil first, though. I mean, we've kind of been watching this, this series. I think we've had you on air after, each one kind of dropped. But this one, to be honest with you, buddy, I mean, it blew my mind.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's wild. It didn't get the view count that it should have gotten, but a lot of that is because Toyo bought it this year instead of Monster, and Toyo only has like 4,500 subscribers on their YouTube channel, so they wanted to build their YouTube channel. So I think it's only got like 2 million views on YouTube. I think it's got a few million on Facebook and some other sites, but it doesn't quite have the number that the other ones got because it had to go on a different platform. But the end result, Toyo bought it. They're really happy with it. They've been able to do they've been able to achieve their goals with the film. Everybody's really happy with it. I had a great time filming it. I mean, you know how it goes with these race trucks. I mean, you ask them to do something, they'll do it for a little bit, and then you have some problem that takes 6 hours to diagnose. And with a film like this, like Recoil 2, I mean, I had a problem like that, and it cost me, $35,000 to just waste time for 6 hours to figure out what type of electrical problem it ended up being. But with this one, everything went perfectly. The truck ran perfectly. All the stunts went off without a hitch. The last stunt that I did was that big jump in the stadium, which was quite terrifying.
Yeah. Well, I think I texted you that morning. I mean, I watch these videos, and I'm sure you're the same way when you watch, one of RJ's videos or one of Ken's or just about anybody. And, in the back of your mind as a driver, I could do that. I could do that. I could do that. I'm watching yours, and, and you jump, I think it was the bleacher seats, and I go, BJ's stepping it up here. And then you jumped into the arena, and I said, hell no. There's no possible way I would ever even conceive of even attempting that. And, that was the one that got me. I'm just like, I draw the line. I concede, BJ, you are the man.
Thanks. I appreciate that. The bleacher jumps weren't really that bad. They just, I had to hit them at like 40, 45 miles an hour. I hit them about 45, and I landed so hard it sent like electricity through my vertebrae. It was really unpleasant. Because I just got all the deflection of the tires, the chassis slapped the ground because I went up from like 20 feet to nothing.
Yeah.
And no downgrade. I was actually like a 1 degree incline. So I was like I was landing in the face of kind of a very, very small incline. So that one was the most painful. The one where I jump off the curb 20 feet into like a dirt lot. That one I ripped the balance off. We had to. I told the guys, I said, I did that twice. I'm not doing it any more times. I don't want to break the truck. So they ended up having to color the valance back in post-production. So I was like, fuck, I am not doing that. And then, let's see, what other one was good. The forest scenes were really fun. Washington has some of the most beautiful forests I've ever seen. Like, opening up, the first half day of production was a lot of me running through the forest and the ghillie suit, the rifle, and Bruce the Sasquatch running, and that was like the funniest morning I had in a really long time. It was a lot of fun to film. And, my son got to film some stuff with Brian Moore and Tent Media, and he had fun. Overall, it was just it couldn't have gone any better. I'll tell you, the big jump in the stadium, I only had like 340 feet to get to my estimated speed. We didn't really even have like the speed 100% figured out of how fast I would need to go. But I was estimated to have to do like 67 miles an hour or something in that vicinity. I couldn't go below 65 because I'd come up short and go to the hospital. If I went over 70, I'd go too far, and I'd probably break my back. So I had to get the speed exact. I got with Washington State Police on one of the side roads, and I measured speeds at different RPMs for probably 25 minutes. And then I went into the stadium and did my run, my 340-foot run, to get up to 67 miles an hour. And I did that probably 3 times. And I honestly, I was like really concerned, First of all, I didn't want to get hurt in front of my son and Lisa. So I was like, I got to do this. I got to do this perfect. And then, I was so scared. But after a couple runs, I was like, you know what? I will feel a lot better if I just see what the next 5 minutes entails for me. So I'm just gonna hit it. And I thought I had it figured out pretty good. I went to the rev chip in first gear with 62 miles an hour, and then did about a little over half a second of acceleration in second gear. And as soon as I went off the face, I was like so pissed off immediately because I thought for sure I went way too far. And, even like halfway through the jump, I was like, dude, I went way too far. Math was wrong. Everything's, I'm going to break my back for sure. And then the truck slowed down significantly in the air from like halfway through the jump till it landed. Just the aerodynamics kind of parachuted it down. And it landed perfectly. I mean, if you look in the video on the GoPros underneath the truck, it doesn't even really hit the bump stops.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he nailed it. I mean, on the landing, it looked perfect, and I figured on a jump like that was one of those, it was a one take. You didn't want to do it multiple times. That's not something you play with. It's just one and done, and let's be done with it,
Well, after I did it, and I know exactly what I had to do to do it, I first off, I thought that I was gonna have to hit the wall, but they laid down really high quality dirt, and I stopped really good in the dirt. We have like that one continuous shot from the jump to like where I spin out and stop, and notice my stolen vehicle, but I just had to, kind of nut up and man up and hit it and see what happened. Originally, we were going to try and break a world record in there, and we didn't think that we'd be able to do it because we thought after I hit the jump, I was going to have to hit the wall because the traction in the inside of the Tacoma Dome is so poor. I mean, I was doing 60 miles an hour at the opening door right where the face of the jump was, and I would slam on the brakes before the jump was even built, like a few days before, just testing, and I would slide 3/4 of the way into the Tacoma Dome. So, it's polished concrete with a little bit of dust on it, so you know how slippery that can be. But they laid down really high quality dirt, and the truck bit down really good and stopped, and being safe. Had I known that I was going to have that good of traction, I would have definitely gone for a world record. It wasn't much further than what I already went. It was only like 15 feet or something like that.
Yeah, who is it that's got the world record? Is it Johnny Greaves? Or I know he at one point had some type of world record on dirt. I can't remember.
Yeah, Greaves has a record on dirt. It was 305 feet, and then Tanner has a ramp-to-ramp record, which was, I believe, 338 feet.
Okay. Yeah.
Both of them are going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's nutty. The video, I'll be honest with you, I mean, everything about it, I mean, told a great story. I mean, Bruce the Sasquatch, I thought that was hilarious to bring that in. I mean, it just, to me, I mean, you guys knocked it out of the park. I know, you've worked with Scotto on the past couple of ones, and, and you guys obviously have things dialed in and, and are putting out some super high quality product.
Yeah, I mean, Scotto's amazing. I'm not super. I'm a little bit creative, but I'm not like super creative.
Yeah.
Scotto was creative director on Recoil 2. He's creative director on Recoil 3. He said, "Yeah, we'll do a thing where like you chase Sasquatch and you're like hunting Sasquatch." I was like, "That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard." But coming from you, if you say you can make it work, then I absolutely trust you. So, he made the story work, and it's funny. Everybody thinks like, like all my sponsors that are involved in Recoil, they're always like, "What's the storyline? What's the storyline? What's the storyline?" And they always want to know the storyline so they could see what they're investing in, and if it's worth being investing in. And we can never really tell them the storyline because that's the last thing that we do. We get like all this, where we're going to film it, all the stuff that we're going to do, and then we kind of lace a storyline around it. If we have a storyline to begin with, then it limits some of the stuff that we can do. So that's just kind of how it comes together. But no, it was a lot of fun. Jumping down the promenade, that was 20 feet in like a central town area.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I mean, that was crazy.
Yeah, well, what's I've found cool about, especially your last two. I mean, I come from, I used to ride BMX street a lot, and you see stuff, and there's a rail, or there's this, or there's that. So now, here I am, and driving around town, I'm like, that'd be fun to hit my RZR, or that'd be cool to be able to do that in a trophy truck, but you can't do it, And here you are, both in Sonata and now in Washington, you'd be able to shut down towns and actually go and do it. I think that's what's pretty cool. I mean, it's literally, a guy's wet dream, right?
Yeah, no, I've been pretty fortunate. I've taken the same stuff as you, mostly in Baja because they have such different rules, than we do. And, there's all these staircases that don't have rails on them. There's all these, rises on streets that, you could just sail the crap out of. And I've always wanted to do all that stuff. And, it's just, honestly, I'm lucky. I got a great group of guys that help my program. I have some great marketing partners. And, it's just like anything else. You want to get stuff done in life, you got to surround yourself with people that are smarter than yourself and learn from them. So I've been pretty fortunate in that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, talking about partners, I know right now I was out at Rigid last week, and you got a heck of a program going with them right now, and I guess kind of a signature series light, those new Midnight Edition lights. But give us a lowdown on what you got going in this contest, where some of the fans can come out and hang out with you.
Yeah, we've been running this contest for a while. We are working on a signature series light. Basically, I think they're going to pick a couple winners. I'm not entirely in control of that. My agent Travis, he's been working on all that and taking care of all that. He's a keystone of our operation. But I think it's going to be cool. I think they're going to fly him into Vegas, and you know, they'll get to go to like a Pioneer Bar with me, which is like 30 miles through the desert to the oldest bar in Nevada. It's crazy. It's got bullet holes in the ceilings and the walls and stuff from like in the Old West. I think we're going to go there, and then I think we're going to come back and then maybe go out to a club in Las Vegas, and you know, we'll see what else they have planned. But whatever they want to do, I'm down to do. I appreciate my fans, and the other reason why I've been as successful as I have been, whether I've had good years racing, winning championships and winning thousands, or whether I've had you know, the years where I've DNF'd, you know, half the races that I've competed in, they've always been there to support me. So anything I can do to, you know, help fans out and have some fun with fans and show how much I appreciate them, I'm down to do.
Yeah. Well, and you know, talking about you know, race program, what's 2016 look like for you? Have you dialed in the schedule? I know you know, got a ton of side projects and stuff like that going on. Have you you know, you got your 2016 plans dialed in yet?
I almost have them dialed in. You know, if I had the funding to do it and I had the support to do it, I would do both Best in the Desert and Score, probably. The reason why I don't do Best in the Desert, you know, go for a championship in Best in the Desert, is because you can't talk, you know, you can't communicate with the helicopter at all. And, you know, you can do relay stuff, but that's kind of, and I talked to Casey about this yesterday. I was like, that's kind of how me and my dad spend time. You know, this operation is like a family deal, you know, with me and my father. And he's so busy nowadays. You know, the only time I really see him is at the races. But I talked to Casey. You know what? If you have $1 million a year to run a trophy truck, you got $30,000 a year for the helicopter. So, I mean, I'm trying to push where anybody can communicate with the helicopter about anything other than helping the race truck go faster, in a sense of directing a certain level of driving. You know, there's certain ways to do it where, you know, the helicopter can be like, you know, 3, 2, 1 right or 3, 2, 1 left, you know, or describe what's coming up in the dust, which can be very helpful. I'm not talking about doing that, but just, you know, being able to get communications and time splits and safety stuff, you know, stuff like that. Like I said, if you got the money to run a trophy truck and you got $30,000 to put a bird up in the air and talk to it. So I'm trying to push that with Casey, and I'm going to talk to Roger about opening up the lines of communication a little bit more as well.
Yeah, well, and you know, and I think, you know, even Casey and Roger, for that matter, I mean, the evolution of trophy truck is just been nutty. And I mean, you know, the speeds that you know, the front running guys are going now, I mean, you know, it's just, you know, I don't think 10 years ago anybody would have ever figured these trucks would be so reliable, so fast, going these speeds, and races would be determined by seconds.
Yeah. I'm happy to say that I was a part of that with my 11-second win over Rob McCackern at the 500 several years ago. But yeah, now it's insane. I really got to pick up the pace. I just spent $250,000 on my race truck. You know, just because everything's changing. You know, I can't afford to build a whole new race truck. I can afford to make changes to my existing one. Everything's changing, and the pace has stepped up, and the drivers are getting better. You know, there was a point in time where I had to deal with like 2 guys. Yeah. You know, on a good day, I had to deal with like 2, 3 guys. Now I got to deal with there's like 12 guys or 14 guys that are all incredibly fast, and it's a lot tougher to deal with. It's a lot tougher to win. I feel like lately we've just been having a black cloud, like the last year and a half. I've just had stupid stuff happen, and it's really, really frustrating. And it's especially hard to communicate what this sport is like to the people I talk to, because I talk to such a large audience. You know, the people that are diehard desert racing fans, are only maybe 3 or 4% of my audience. So they don't realize that this is not like a road racing car where you finish a race, do a valve adjustment and check the rotors and change pads and, put gas in it. I mean, these cars go through the most brutal punishment ever. There is nothing more abusive in the motorsport world, not even close to what we do. I mean, there's nothing more abusive. And parts break. There's 25,000 parts on my truck. If one of them breaks, then I'm out. And you know as well as I do. You've had problems, as well as I have. Sometimes truck drives for 20 hours and you're good. Sometimes you leave the starting line 100 yards later and you're parked with some crank position sensor or broken ring gear or something in the powertrain. So it's definitely a tough sport. We've made some significant changes to increase our reliability, to increase our acceleration, lighten the truck up so it's not as hard on the truck for extended periods of time. But we're still racing a truck that's 10 years old, 11 years old. And we're happy with it, but we have made huge changes to increase our performance so we can stay in the game. It's tough. You can't let the world pass you by. You gotta evolve.
Yeah. Exactly, and I'm excited, especially the next 3 to 5 years with some of the technology coming in with gearboxes and all-wheel drive, and and I think 5 years from now the front-running trophy trucks are going to look drastically different than what they look like right now. It's just like you said though, it's evolution.
Yeah, absolutely, it's evolution, and I've never believed in I've been a part of the experiment before, where you've got something on a napkin and you're like, this is going to kill everything. I've been part of that experiment, and it costs a lot of money and nothing gets done. So I'm more of the guy that I was interested in the sequential, but I wasn't even going to touch it until Robbie had 2 years on it. And maybe one other guy was gonna try them. But in all honesty, running the new sequential on my truck has had a drastic change on how I have to drive the truck. There's a lot of things that I want to do that I can't do anymore because of the powertrain change. I think it's maybe a little bit faster, but it's a lot more labor to drive. It's a lot more brain power to drive. You're not just sticking in third.
Yeah.
Now I see the rev chip in every single gear, and I definitely think it runs better, but I think it's going to take me, 6 months to a year just to learn how to drive the thing like I should be driving it.
Yeah.
So that's why I've been, even at the 1,000, we had problems and only went 105 miles because of a loose connector on the top of the trans that we couldn't get to, and we didn't have anything to, fix or replace it. So after the 1,000, we did 100 miles here, we did 150 miles here, we did 150 miles here, and then we're gonna go test again this last weekend, and of course it was terrible. 250. I said, you know what? If we're going to go test anyways, why don't we test it in an active environment? So, we did we got a little media production with UFC, and had Matt Serra, a champion UFC fighter, ride with me for half the race, a little bit less than half the race, and we got some media out of that. Dana White was there, and then we got to test the truck in a violent environment, because when you as well as I do, when you test on a dirt road or in the bumps or whatever, you don't drive the same as you do when you're so thirsty for another trophy, or you're so thirsty to do well, like you are when you have other people that you're driving against. So I think it was a good test. We almost got 1,000 miles on it. I'm going to go to Glamis tomorrow morning for monster production called the Doonies, and that's their big film project that they have once a year, where they have all their athletes, 2 and 4 wheel athletes, come out and go to the dunes. So I'm going to put some miles on it there and burn some gas, burn a tank of gas in it, and then we're going to bring it back and take it down, inspect it, and give it a full prep and get ready for whatever race we choose to race next, which is still up in the air, like I said. And I'd like to race Best in the Desert. for a change and maybe do the 500 and 1,000 instead of doing all the score races. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
I'll know more in a couple weeks.
Sounds good, my friend. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to call in, buddy. I know you're busy, and I know you and I've talked to a couple other monster guys, and everybody seems like they're heading out to Glamis. But appreciate the time, and you and the family have a great Christmas.
Awesome, thanks, Jimmy. Merry Christmas to you, buddy. Thanks for having me on.
All right, thanks, buddy.
All right, take care.
Yep, you too. All right, that was BJ Baldwin talking some Recoil 3 and a little bit of his trophy truck program and and everything in between. It's always great to catch up with BJ. Solid guy, and he's doing some amazing things for not only off-road industry but his partners as well. But we're going to take a short break. When we come back, Amy Houde's going to be on the line. We're going to be chatting some Supercross, got some questions, and a whole lot more to come here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm your host, Jim Beaver, and fun show today. Jimmy Blaze, BJ Baldwin talks some best in Desert Henderson, and up next, my partner in crime, Amy Houde. She's going to be on the line, and we're going to be talking some Supercross, talking some North Pole action. We all know she's from the North Pole up there, but that being said, she is on the line, so that means it's a little time for this.
Now, where the hood at? You better bust that if you don't pull that. Where the hood at?
What's happening, Amy?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm putting you on the spot right out of the box. We've had an ongoing conversation all day. Jimmy Blaze called in. He's an Alaskan native. Now he's down in Mexico on the beach. So he said he had to get out from the cold. He says, I just had to do it. I said, why is that, Jimmy? And he says, man, these northern girls, he's like, they wear these big, thick jackets and thick clothes. And he's like, you never know what you're getting into until you get the jacket off when you're back at home, and sometimes it scares you.
Oh, my God, that terrible.
Oh, so I'm putting you on the spot. He says sometimes the northern girls they tend to not shave in the wintertime. So is there any truth to it?
What part of the north is he from?
He's from Alaska.
Is he sitting around in Montreal?
No.
Alaska is probably a lot colder than here, so I know I can understand if the girls want to have a little extra layering on there to stay warm, but no, man, we don't do that stuff in Winnipeg. That's just weird. But I do know that the French Canadians kind of divvy into that kind of stuff. But, I mean, I know that I'm like a Canadian girl, but I am such a SoCal girl at heart where, I got, like, the cold chills me. Even, I don't know what you guys do in Fahrenheit, but, like, 60 degrees Fahrenheit is still, like, cold for me. I like the heat. I like it hot. And I kind of live that way, too, where, like, I still wear, like, kicks and, like, a sweater outside if it's cold out because I hate bundling up. Like, that's the worst thing about winter is having to layer and, like, wear, like, tons and tons of clothing just to stay warm. And I'm just, like, not about that life. And, like, I don't look good in a giant flannel. Like, I prefer a tank top and some short shorts. What can I say? I'm, like, a little SoCal girl, so, that's actually pretty funny that you said that. That gives us such a bad reputation. Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks for that.
Yeah, no, it was quite entertaining. Jimmy Blaze. I mean, like I said, anybody that it goes by the name Jimmy Blaze, it's going to be an entertaining interview, and that it was for sure.
I guess so.
So, yeah. So no, I'm with you though on the layering. I mean, I know I had these guys who went up to a snowdrift rally in January in northern Michigan last year, and I show up and they're like, "Where's your snow pants? Where's this?" I'm like, "I'll be all right." And they're like, "It's going to be like -20." I'm like, "I'll be all right." And I had on jeans and a snow jacket, and I bucked up the whole time, and that's what I wore. Like I don't like wearing 3 and 4 layers. I start sweating, and like I'd rather be a little bit cold than too hot.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, like, that's probably why right now I have a deathly cold. Like, I'm actually ready after we get off this call. I'm going to a walk-in clinic because I have bronchitis or pneumonia or something. Like, I am just struggling, probably because of the fact that I don't dress appropriately and I can catch a cold really easy when it's, like, -20 outside and I'm still, like, running in and out of the house and outside and, like, a long sleeve or a sweater, so I probably don't dress the way I should, being from Winnipeg, but whatever, I take it as it comes. I'd rather look cute and have a cold than, look like a big, scruffy Eskimo bum, so.
Well, that being said, how was St. Louis? I know you were there doing some Phorm stuff over the weekend.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. Pretty bummed that we couldn't have Andy on today, but he's really sick. I don't know if he's hungover or he's sick because we did a lot of working out, a lot of drinking, a lot of partying. It was so great. Everyone just has, like, big Christmas get-togethers and has a lot of fun. And it's just, obviously, every time I go, there's, like, an experience of a lifetime just to hang out with such cool, like-minded people. And there was a huge crew of us and stuff. Again, handling a cold kind of sucked. Not really feeling up to par. But I did polish off a whole bottle of wine on the Friday night and thought I was going to die in the morning, but still managed to do my first ever CrossFit workout. Hungover, if I may add, so I'm pretty impressed at myself that I even finished it, never mind being hungover and finished it. So mad kudos to myself for that. But, I mean, I've never done CrossFit before in my life, and it was a new experience. Super challenging, but it's so cool, and I like advise every athlete out there to try CrossFit because it's a competitive way of working out. Like, you just don't go to the gym and pump weights. Like, you're trying to win. Like, you're trying to beat the other guy beside you for the workout of the day, or they call it a WOD. But yeah, no, you kind of get that adrenaline pumping. You don't really know what's going to get every day. You show up and there's a different WOD or workout of the day, and that's kind of cool. It's just like racing. Like, everywhere you go, there's a different track. You're racing against different people. So it kind of sparked that competitive nature in me, and I hungover and all I wanted to do was, kick some butt. So it was pretty cool, but I hurt the next day pretty good. I was so sore.
Yeah, I know. I know a lot of people getting into CrossFit. I mean, they get into it. I mean, it gets its hooks in you, and it's, you know what I mean? People get really diehard into that.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. But it's a little hard for me because I have some injuries. Like, I got some compressed discs in my back, and obviously like my shoulder injury. I blew out my shoulder a bunch of times, had surgery, blew it out again. Like, it's just a mess. So there's a lot of things I got to tailor toward my like working injuries. So CrossFit is rough on the body. So, you know, if you're kind of an athlete plagued with injuries, it might not be the thing for you. But, you know, you can always go and, you know, make your own or, you know, try something different. But it's cool because you, just like a race, you got to finish. You know, you got to push past your comfort zone, and you always got to find that reserve of energy to, you know, kill it. So I like it. It's definitely cool. I wish I could. And it's very technical, like to do the exercises right. Like, it's super, super technical. I was just free for all it. I probably did it completely wrong. That's why I hurt even more than I say. But no, you know, I was just getting my butt in shape for my upcoming ice race this weekend. So I have my first ice race of the year. Instead of a road racing style track, it is an ice oval. But I have posted a picture on my Instagram of my CR500 that I'll be racing. It's pretty sexy, I'm not going to lie.
You're
it's
stepping
fast.
it up, CR500?
Yeah. I know. Normally I ride my dad's 450, but he wanted to, or I use my bike, but I give my bike back at the end of the year. So usually we have like we call it the nuclear banana, like it's an old vintage bike. But this is like a really high-end race, and so I don't think there's even a vintage class. So there's just CB&As, or junior, intermediate, and pro. And yeah, I'm going to be racing this 500. I haven't even sat on it before, okay? So my dad's like, hey, we're going to go out like on Wednesday so you can at least try it. So at least I'll get like a couple laps of practice before I do my first race on this thing. But it's a beast. Like, you guys got to head over to my Instagram and check it out. And I get a lot of people like wondering what that big metal cage on the front, like over the front tire is, like under the fender.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, everyone's like, is that to stop the snow? Is that so you don't get roosted? I'm like, no, man. It's so if you crash, you don't chop someone else or your own leg off. Like, duh, it's a guard for those spikes. Like, if you even go a little bit lower in my profile, you'll see I posted a photo of the studs. Like, our tires all studded up. They're so gnarly. Like, you don't want to come close to one of those things. So the guards are on there so you don't, you know, like cut your face off. And, you know, yeah, it's more for protection than like bruise.
No, I when I went and did Winter Terracross last, what was it, beginning of April, into March last year in Crested Butte, Colorado, we had studded tires. And those things are gnarly. Like, you don't want any body part anywhere close to those when they're spinning. I mean, they'll...
No, like every one of my like ice pants or whatever, like my snowboard pants, I just rock some snowboard pants. But I have a big like duct tape piece on the inside. Even if you have leather, even if you have, you know, actually a leather insert would work pretty good. But the exhaust gets so hot that it always burns my plastic pants. So I just have this super sexy duct tape patch job on all my snowboard pants. So it's really funny. I gotta have like a separate set of like strictly snowboarding pants and then my duct tape ice riding pants. But yeah, and then we rock these huge hand guards too, and everyone was giving me a hard time saying, oh, it's like plus 5 degrees or 30 degrees. Why do you need those? You tried going like 100 miles around a track, you know, third lap into a race, and you got like 20 lap motos and having your hands freeze. Like, you can't grab the brake, you can't twist the throttle. It's not fun. Like, you know, we're actually racing at really high speeds, so you need that handguard protection to keep your hands warm. Or, it's really hard to find a nice glove, too. You don't want giant mitts for ice riding because it's not a snowmobile. You're not pressing with your thumb. Like, you have a throttle and the brake. So I always like to wear a little bit of a thinner glove, too, or else I can't hold on. Or try holding onto the handlebars with giant gloves. Like, it feels like you're holding on to a pool noodle. Like, it feels weird. So you still want that grip, but then you want to keep your hands warm. So
you know what you know what you need to try, and I'll see if I can get you a pair. So like the Nomex gloves I have from Impact, they're the new style that they've got. So like the inside of them, like I'm really picky. I do not like thick gloves when I race cars at all. I like them really, really thin. So they're really thin, but they've got like this rubberized grip surface. But then the top, obviously they're Nomex for fire, so the top is a little bit thicker, but the inside there's no seams, no nothing, because I don't like anything I like total feel. I like total control. Almost like you're barehanded. And so I'll have to get you a pair sent up there, because these, for normal motocross riding, not so much, but for this, they might actually be good.
Yeah, no, that'd probably be nice. And also, there's some really nice snowcross gloves. Definitely the FXR makes. I usually wear an FXR glove, but it's really hard to find something that's small for a girl and that fits good and that's not giant. So, and my dad always likes to wear these stupid leather, they're what are they, the claw, it's like a thumb and a finger and then 3 fingers, it's weird. That's his go-to thing. But he actually got me these heated gloves that have a heat pack on them. Oh my gosh, I love those. Those are great. Again, like I said, I'm a bit of a SoCal girl, so I'm such a wiener when it comes to the cold. So I do bundle up for ice racing. The warmer the better, because I cannot stand being cold and going those high speeds and then having your neck freeze or your nose freeze. And yeah, I'm like an abominable snowman when I'm out there. But I'm excited. It should be fun. I'm not a big fan of the oval. I more like the road racing style courses, a little bit more technical, and then you kind of I find the dirt bikers have a bit more of an advantage just because a lot of the tighter corners actually rut up, so it's really, really fun, and you really get, you really got to manage watching your lines and, insides versus outsides and stuff, so it's cool. People with a little bit more of a racing experience often have, a benefit of the doubt on the road racing style courses, but no, I'm interested to see how it goes and see, the turnout, because it is the same weekend as Fargo Snowcross, and I know a lot of guys from here go down to watch, so hopefully we have a good turnout, and it's a fun weekend of racing on ice.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happening in your neck of the woods. What's Fargo, 2-hour drive for you guys? 2.5?
Yeah. Fargo is about 3 hours. So 2 hours to Grand Forks, 3 hours to Fargo. So 3.5.
Nice.
I'm bummed I can't make that one. I was really excited, but I'd rather race than watch. That's for sure.
Oh, that's always. I always say, I've always said, what is it? Steering wheel trumps microphone. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly. You know the feeling.
Yeah.
And I got a huge lull between my next races, so I gotta get out while I can.
Yeah. What do you got planned for Christmas? What's on your wish list? I guess, after today we only got one show left, and we take a couple of week break. I
know. Oh, good. Well, I'm excited. I can come back on and recap my hopeful win in the B class after this weekend. But no, Christmas. I do the family thing. I'm a huge family person. I think this is gonna be the first year that I take the reins and actually try to make the Christmas dinner. So I'd like to do that. I want to cook the turkey or the chicken or whatever, and actually participate in the food making part of it rather than the food eating part. So, but yeah, no, I live alone now, so it's kind of lonely. I wake up on Christmas Day all alone, drive to my mom's, and then we drive out to my grandma and grandpa's. So, just hang out with my family and my friends, and always on Boxing Day, so the day after Christmas, everybody heads out on the ice, all the diehards, for a big ice racing day. So instead of going shopping, we have a day on the ice, and it's been tradition since I was born. And every Boxing Day, we go out on the ice, so pretty fun.
And what the heck is Boxing Day? Because I don't know. I know people in Europe celebrate it. People in Canada celebrate it. United States, one of those we just go, the hell with you guys. We don't.
You don't have Boxing Day?
No. I for the longest time I thought it was people put on some gloves and hit each other.
Boxing Day. What?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, no, it's the day after Christmas, because I guess that's when all you get all your boxes left over from Christmas shopping. But it's the day that people can go and get good deals at the mall too. We do have a Black Friday like you guys. Obviously not as crazy, because I've seen trample link videos on YouTube endlessly. But Boxing Day is just another awesome day for shopping. So instead of going shopping, we go riding, because that's just lame. So
yeah. I'm kind of over shopping. I hate shopping.
Honestly, no. Everyone in my family is getting homemade gifts this year and baking. I'm gonna bake everybody's stuff, cookies and brownies and stuff. So I'm on the poor woman's diet and budget. So homemade gifts. I gotta learn to knit in the next 2 weeks here, so I can knit everybody some placemats or some scarves. I am on the homemaking gifts this year.
Yeah, I want some Amy Hood brownies. The problem is it's going to take like 10 days to get here, and they'll be hard as a rock by the time they hit Arizona.
Yeah, that'd be still.
Yeah, wouldn't be so good. Hey, so we got a couple of questions sent in past week or so, and some of them are GRC related and stuff like that, and I guess I'm going to have to dial them in next week. But we had one, and it was basically pertaining to Chad Reed. His 2016 plans. I know we talked about it a while back. Yamaha, we heard, but
yep.
Have you heard anything? I mean, I know he's got 22 Motorsports. Is he going to sign with another team? Does his team go away? I mean, or is he bringing in a?
I have been off the moto radar. I got to kind of dive into it a little bit. Like I said last week, like right now, everyone is flying like so under the radar and kind of keeping everything like hush hush before A1. But yeah, I'll dive into my motocross knowledge for everybody. I guess Supercross, because motocross and Supercross are really different. There's different teams, a lot of different privateer stuff goes on in Supercross. A lot of independent riders. But yeah, like there's a lot of new deals this year, which is actually really exciting and cool. So we see a lot of people switching colors, switching brands. So I'll put some lists together and try to get the 411 and the what's going on in the Supercross world, and we can recap next week and kind of touch base and see who's where, I guess.
Yeah, well, and I know it's kind of the way that the Christmas and New Year's falls this year. Normally when we come out of break on the radio show, that Monday is after A1. But this year, when the Monday after break is like the Monday before A1, so we can do like a full-blown Supercross preview that Monday beforehand.
Oh, that's gonna be awesome.
Maybe get a few riders dialed in or something like that. And
well, I don't know if you guys heard, but our guest we had on a couple of weeks ago, Matt Bisceglia, actually suffered a really bad broken collarbone. But he's still in obviously happy spirits, like that's the Matt Bisceglia way. But he went in for surgery, got surgery, it's all looking good, and he's excited because he's going to be able to ride the East Coast, which I know he wanted to over the West Coast. So he said he'll be healed in time to be on the bike again, ready for East Coast. But, well wishes to Matt. I hope he recovers really, really fast and bounces back. But no doubt in my mind that he'll be, ready and willing come East Coast. But speedy recovery to you, man. So
yeah,
sure. That sucks to hear.
Well, and I think a guy we had on air, I think last year doing Supercross season, Kyle Partridge, didn't he have an accident not too long ago too?
Yes, Kyle has officially retired from racing. He suffered a terrible back injury, broke his back. He raised a ton of money on a GoFundMe campaign too to help support his medical needs. I know he has a little boy, right? So he the whole community of racing kind of got involved and is helping him out. But there's no doubt in my mind that I'll see Kyle involved in racing, whether be a brand ambassador, part of a team or something. I just don't think we'll see him go away. I know he has officially announced his retire, but he's just one of those guys who's respected throughout the whole industry. Everyone really, really likes Kyle, and I don't think we'll see him leave anytime soon. He'll find another role, whether if it's not racing, it's something else, So it's cool to see those people like kind of cross over from once racing to more of the business side of the industry. So
you see somebody like Kyle possibly making, because he's still riding. He's an independent, but he was riding at a pretty high level last year. You see somebody like that making a transition to like the endurocross route where, you're still, I don't know.
I do and I don't, because I know this injury, reading a little bit about his thoughts around the whole injury and being a father, it's completely different. He has a child to support, and if anything were to happen to him, it'd be obviously devastating to his family. And his son is the number one focus in his life. Like, after an injury like that, I think it really kind of was one of those kick in the butts that, I'm not maybe where I want to be right now. And with this injury, it's like a big setback for him and his life and his family. And I think he's just kind of keeping. I think he wants to maybe pull things back a little bit now. So, but I've seen that happen before. People say, I'm done, I'm over it. Nope, don't want to do it. And then, next year, they're just like, I just can't. Yeah. I'm back. Hey. Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll have to see how it is. But I know Kyle obviously has a really different situation than most, 20-something-year-olds who don't have anything else but riding, where, he's got a son. So I really, really, really respect his decision, and I think, it shows him how, selfless he is and how much he really does care about his family. And, I really respect his decision for sure.
Yeah. Here's a question. So kind of skipping back to Chad Reed, I read something this morning doing kind of show prep. So Chad Reed, regardless of where he ends up, we know he's racing in 2016. He's got the record currently, 11 consecutive seasons with a win in Supercross. What are the odds that Chad Reed makes it 12 seasons with a win?
I don't know. I don't know what capacity that he's riding at right now. He was really successful at the Australian Supercross. I mean, getting beat by Ricky Carmichael is not like getting beat by, say, Jeremy Martin. I mean, it's two completely different playing fields. I mean, Ricky is the GOAT. So, I think
Ricky could still go out and win a championship, I'm convinced. I mean, you watch him do these, at Monster Energy Cup, he rides around the track, to kind of give the GoPro course preview or whatever the heck they call it. And, his times are ridiculous. I'm going, I think Ricky could come out of retirement tomorrow and win a Supercross championship. Or be close, let's put it that way.
He lost 20 pounds? Is that a mean thing to say?
Yeah, I guess give him 6 months to train.
Races, yeah. But that's the same thing with Chad Reed. I feel like he definitely has the talent, the speed, the ability, the drive, and the determination to win races, championships. No, probably not. But you never know with him. He's one of those guys. I mean, he's coming out of gate 1A1. Threw it down for the dads and the old guys out there. I mean, he's not really that old, but he's old in the sport. Where it was just fantastic to see him win. So, Chad is just this dark horse that, he's so competitive, and I think, he has a lot to prove. He's kind of come up through the ranks. He's been the good guy and the bad guy, and then the good guy again and the bad guy again. And now with, Tate and his whole, family image that he portrays, he's once again the good guy. So I think he just wants to end his career on top. And he's just still so incredibly talented. But I know that he, wants to win. He hates getting third, fourth, fifth. He likes to win. So he is very, very competitive. And, that's what's keeping him in the game all the time is, being very self-confident, for sure. Yeah. But that's what you need. I mean, that's what you need to have such a long career like he has, to just not give up when, you start getting defeated a couple times and be like, I'm older, I can walk away now. He's like, no, I want to go with a bang. I still have something to give these guys, and, I can still run with them. And he runs with that, and, that's what's so damn cool about him, I think.
Yeah, he's I don't know. I mean, he's a once in a lifetime type of guy. I think he's one that you're going to see. I think he'll transition to team owner well, and he's one of those guys.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, definitely. And yeah, or announcing. I know he's actually been really good at the whole announcing side of it too. So, whether that be team owner in front of the camera, and he obviously has a face for in front of the camera. Come on, it's Chad Reed. Hello.
Yeah.
But he's a crowd favorite, and maybe he'll step back and take the role of Supermoto dad, because I know Tate's really talented, and maybe we'll see him just be the ultimate moto dad and have no other involvement in it rather than support Tate. So, that's cool. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. You never know. He may pull Jeremy McGrath and decide to go off-road short course racing or something like that too.
Hands down, no, for sure. He has such a adrenaline junkie bug in him. So, and he's actually been one of the most successful racers, financially, because he's able to market the 2-2 brand so well. And he kind of came in at a time. I read about this somewhere where he came into a time where marketing himself, and I believe it was through Lloyd's of London, he insured himself for a championship. He put X amount of money down if you were to win to get paid out. And he was successful and won a lot of money. And I just think he's done such a good job of, not only racing, but marketing himself. And so that's what allowed him to be, a standout athlete, not just racer, but he's just an all-around well-rounded athlete. So he's got everything dialed. He's solid.
For sure. All right, Amy. Well, we got to let you go. Got to wrap things up here, but we'll definitely do it again next week. And we got some. It's going to be kind of the anniversary show next week, so I've got some rabbits in my hat that we're getting ready to announce hopefully soon. But should be a packed show next week.
Well, that sounds good. Yes, and hopefully I can bring you guys home with a podium finish next week, and then we can talk about it and celebrate. Woohoo!
Awesome.
All right, well, have a good one.
All right, you too. Thanks, Amy.
Bye.
Bye. All right, that was Amy Houde, kind of doing Amy Houde's thing here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. But, yeah, we got to wrap things up real quick, running up against the gun. Got some snowcross going on this weekend. Got to give a big shout-out to Polaris RZR, General Tire, Rigid Industries, Dirtfish Rally School, UPR.com, Blue Resort and Casino, KMC Wheels, Gibson Exhaust, MTX Audio. And don't forget to give me a follow at JimBeaver15 on Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, and Snapchat at Amy Houde 71 on the same Facebook.com/DownAndDirtyShow or DownAndDirtyShow.com for all the back episodes. Download our app, available everywhere, and we will see you next week. As always, game on.